Hey, greetings everyone. Welcome to the first day of Repaired Nation's work-based learning program. Me and Tut are really excited to, be going on this journey with you all. As you know, there are three tracks for this program. One is an apprenticeship track, and that apprenticeship track is going to be for the folks who are uh, going to host sites, learning, getting hands-on experience 10 hours a week. There's going to be a co-op development track, and those folks are going to be putting in effort into doing this general education, getting deeper understandings of that, and getting led to or through like the development of a co-op by the co-leads. And the navigation and discovery track, we're going to be supporting folks for like clarifying their personal mission, vision, values and stuff before we get into the collective like building with each other. My name is Greg, or Gregory, co-founder of Repaired Nations, also working at a bunch of other co-ops, and really excited to be doing this work with you. And I'm here with my co-founder, Tet. What's up, bro?
So, yeah, my name's Brother Tet Hadoop Tep. You call me Brother Tep for short. Like Brother Greg, just very excited to take this journey with you all. And yeah, I'm actively a part of a couple of co-ops myself. Also doing work with Cooperation Richmond. And yeah, just this is a great way to kick it off. So this is day one, family. Hope you are ready to do a lot of discovery and finding out things about this way of community and business that is very near and dear to our hearts. And our ancestors did a lot of work around this type of formation, the cooperative way. And we're going to get into some of that today.
Yeah, thanks, Tut. So a lot of these sessions are going to be kind of like, quick 30 minutes in and out. We're going to be focusing on team building in like certain sessions, starting more so after we get through some like conflict resolution and like interpersonal communication techniques, so that we can all be coming in with like a baseline of stuff before doing that. But yeah, right now it's just kind of going to be quick. Thank you all for joining. We're also, the first 3 weeks we strongly encourage folks to come so that if you have questions while we're going through it, you can get those answered. But we are also, kind of testing out this asynchronous thing. So if you're not able to come, it's going to be on YouTube. You're going to need to watch the video and do the assignments to get, your full 5 hours of general ed credit. So yeah, whatever works for you all. I've sent out an email, I'll share my screen, that gives some of the like highlights for what's coming up in this program. And at least like, asking you all to reserve a few dates. So as I said, the first 3 weeks, highly recommended that you're here. August 3rd, 5th, 17th, and 19th, we're gonna need you all to be present, in live with us, as well as September 2nd, 15th, 16th, 29th, and 30th. Okay, so let's hop in. I'm gonna put the link to this in the chat. I believe I've also already shared this with you all. But since we haven't gotten you all your collective courage books yet, I took a bunch of screenshots so we can still do the assignments and get that knowledge. So you can see it up on my screen now. Unfortunately, my camera's not working, or else I would show you all the collective courage books that we have. We got some awesome bags from Africa, Ghana, that our boy Blink put together. So we're gonna be stuffing that with like notebooks and collective courage and some pens and etc. So get me your addresses as soon as you can. If I ask for them on the email, but they'll also be part of the day one assignment. Okay, so Collective Courage by Jessica Gordon Nemhard is a really, really awesome book. And it took her about 15 years of research to gather this information from the archives and from, sometimes going and interviewing folks like, down where the work happened. And so, I'm always like super excited to be going through this work. And, I think we've done the book club 2 or 3 times already. And I continue to learn more each time we do it because there's so many jewels in here. And so the assignment for today, I'll just let you know before we get into it, is to spend about 45 minutes going through the timeline, reading it after we're done, picking 2 co-ops that you're interested in, and let us know why you're interested in learning more about them. The third prompt is, putting in your address. Inside of that email, you'll find a general education portal link. It's this Google form. And so each time you're submitting an assignment, we'll like for you to, put in your email, put in your name. You can either put the date the assignment was created or the assignment number. This is assignment number 1. And then there are 3 prompts. So the first prompt for today and the second prompt are find a co-op that you're interested in and let us know why you're interested. The third prompt, put in your address so I can drop off these books and backpacks. All right, so let's get into it. Okay. All right, so Collective Courage, Jessica Gordon Nemhard kind of gave the intro. Would you like to say anything about, this first page and like, I guess this would be chapter 1 that we're kind of looking at right now, which is really about like mutual aid and how, we've kind of been doing this since time has been time and even before that. But a lot of the like the early work, collective work that was done in the Black community was, done where we were socializing with each other. And sometimes that was in secret societies, sometimes that was in churches. Um, Sometimes we, did our best to extract ourselves from this whole thing and create a commune or a colony. Um, and there's a lot of stuff in here in just this first page.
Yeah, totally, bro. Like, even, think about it from the late 1700s to pretty much all the way up until now. We have a strong history of banding together. A lot of times it's around like mutual aid societies. When we all have a collective common need, we would come together, pull our resources, and it looked pretty effortless because of how consistent we were. Like, every so often, every year, once we developed something, it grew into something else, and it turned into a conglomerate type of collective networking across sectors. And we've been had this skill. We're doing this. So it's just phenomenal to like, sit back, knowing what we know, what we've been taught about Black history, and then understanding 100, 200 years prior, we had a rich history of cooperative economics and collective working and pulling our resources together. So it's just phenomenal. And being a student of history, I really appreciate Jessica Gordon Nemhard for going back and fetching the Sankofa. That's what it means, to go back and fetch and bring forward to today this information, because it's very pertinent to a lot of us. I know it's so shocking to me, and I can't wait to see the expression on some of you guys and gals' faces when you really sit with this information that we're about to go through today. Yeah, it's just phenomenal.
Ashe, thank you. Yeah, man, like double tap on all that. So I'm going to go to the next slide, the next page. This is going to start on page 238, 239 in the books and go until page 250. But we're using a slideshow because in case you all don't have the books yet, this is what you'll use. Well, the one that really stuck out to me from when we were doing the book clubs is the Chesapeake Marine Railway and Dry Dock Company. You know, uh, I feel like I use that example so much where I'm like, yo, like, did you know that like Black folks took over the spot, bought the spot? Well, not well. It's kind of complicated, but took over the spot that Frederick Douglass first learned how to read, and then became like the best ship makers in Maryland, and like withstood white violence for 18 years and actually made it better for every other Black person in the area, because since they could get pushed out, white people just kind of like moved on. It's like, yeah, there's so much, and I'm looking forward to rereading the book and going through it with you. Would be remiss if didn't mention Maggie Lena Walker at this moment, who helps run the Independent Order of San Luke, or St. Luke's. Help was like the first Black person to help start a bank, the Penny Savings Bank, and it was a credit union, which is also a cooperative. Just you know, uh, this next slide, just still going through the times, showing how like even if we were sharecroppers, we were still figuring out how to move collectively. Um, the Knights of Labor was like the first interracial um, union in the U.S. Had over a million members, or had close to a million Black members, um, and in like 2 years created almost 200 cooperatives. The book like kind of alludes to how the system that was did everything in their power to shut them down. But there's just a lot of instances of where like we came, there was violence and oppression, we dipped, came back stronger, dipped again, and it's still happening. And so, I think Tut and I believe that we're in like that upward trend. And our, I guess, charge is to make sure folks know what happened in the past, so we can, build on our ancestors' successes and also learn from, the challenges, obstacles, sometimes failures that came, um, and the context that created that. So welcome, Billy, and everyone else. We're these sessions in the morning are going to be like really quick, brief, to the point. There's going to be some moments when we're doing team building, collective building, and those are scheduled. They're in the email. If you do have questions, feel free to put it in the chat, raise your hand. This can also be a conversation. But right now, we're introducing you all to the timeline, so that you can do the assignment for today, which is picking 2 co-ops or collectives in this timeline, letting us know like why they interest you, and also letting us know your address so we can drop off Collective Courage plus a backpack and others. Ted, anything you want to say on this section or this page that's up, and or any other things?
No, just just a lot of sharecropping and farming. I know some of us have grandparents that we hear stories about when we had the farm and we lived on the farm, but this was a real way of life, and agriculture was a real big industry. Kind of on the same scale as slavery, because they kind of went hand in hand at one point in time in this country's history. So just to know that we were not just being pimped and prostituted in the ways of our labor and our skills. On the back tail end, we actually were doing a lot of organizing and capitalizing and strategic planning, and trying to maneuver from just the old model, and trying to do for ourselves. And you can see that like the Negroes Farmers Alliance, they were doing work, and all through the timeline, you will see a lot of farming and the alliance. So this is a lot of farmers, pockets of farmers all over either the South or, going towards the whole, around the whole country, forming these alliances around farming and food. Food was a big resource for us. Our skills of being farmers was a big resource for us, and we capitalized on that. And you see a lot of that during the 1800s. So, yeah, that's beautiful. We see a lot of young folks today going back to that. Like Brother Greg said, the trend is starting to trend up. A lot of folks are going back to the same ways that we used to do, trying to figure out how to, organize pockets of interest and skills. And we have folks like Raw Soul and, the grocery stores that like Mandela, and then the deep grocery, trying to get more people to go back into the farming and learn how to grow your own food. That's been a lot of the topic of discussion. So just knowing that that's what we're looking at right now in the 1800s, and that is starting to be a trend today is, beautiful. What goes around comes around. And, we are right in step. Today, you being here today, you're right in step with what's going on moving forward for our people. So that's what's up.
Ashe. And one of the great things about like this timeline that I'm remembering is like, if you're looking for them, you can kind of spot the trends. Like if you know the context of the moment, you could be like, oh yeah, like, more co-ops here because, we're not focusing on civil rights, or like less co-ops during this moment because, folks are really focusing on civil rights. So yeah, inviting you all to, bring that context that about history into this timeline, and it'll help you understand, like why there's a boom, why there's like less in a time. But yeah, going back to the timeline that's up on the screen, we were we were coming together and advocating for a very long time. Like 1896, there was a mutual aid association that was also advocating for reparations in 1896. It's a long time ago. W.E.B. Du Bois 2 years ago is writing about how Black cooperatives and collective ownership can be what he says our own social betterment. So we've been looking at this stuff and working with it for a long time. You can see like on the other side of the page, the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank that I was referring to, and Maggie Lena Walker is talking about that. The first woman to charter a bank, African American woman. They helped they helped people own 600 homes, which is like even amazing in today's times, right? So there's a lot that we can learn from our ancestors. Moving forward in the 1900s, we're seeing that W.E.B. Du Bois was holding conferences, which also started talking and promoting cooperatives and economics. Yeah, anything you want to say, Ted?
Yeah, the power of a dollar. I mean, of a penny savings. We see that come up again later in the timeline. And I believe, reading the book, the number of times that we've read it, it's been about, many hands make light work. So, starting where you're at and, collectively contributing, a little bit can go a long way. So just imagine, on a small scale, your family, everybody, and a lot of cooperatives we see come up is what you would consider as consumer cooperatives. So, we see some mutual aid, some life insurance. So that's about like offering life insurance. If somebody passed away, we all contribute $10 monthly, and then people who need it at a certain time, they probably get like $500, $1,000 to bury them, their family members. So we had this for ourselves. That's why W.B. Du Bois coined that term, saying that we can be our own mutual benefit society for ourselves. We don't need the government. We don't need, them to like help us to get through. We can do it for ourselves. So we see a lot of that, and it's just beautiful. If we can just grasp that, and apply it in our lives, we can see tremendous benefits. And definitely what we're doing right now with Repair Nations, that's a model that we kind of take to heart and try to, get the people to realize that, we can institute all these changes and benefits for ourselves. And looking through this today, you see it's not nothing new. Our family's been saying it, and then we've actually been doing it. So, yeah.
Sure. And Du Bois was able to document 154 Black-owned cooperative businesses in 1907. Been doing it. Uh, the Negroes Cooperatives Guild, Du Bois, another effort from him, short-lived, but it helped spark some things. Universal Negro Improvement Association, UNIA, and the great Marcus Garvey, in some ways doing collective ownership, is able to get, like, I don't know, if you read into it, racism played a lot into the failure, but was still able to purchase a ship and was like, no, we need to be able to like trade amongst ourselves, and then started doing it and working toward it, which is like an amazing feat. Um, okay. So as we start moving further into the 1900s, we see that schools start like developing schools start developing cooperative programs for Black folks. Sometimes it's at night schools, sometimes it's for the youth, sometimes it's just a group of people coming together to study together. But these like efforts are what help people spur and create um, more cooperative and get the experience and the knowledge that we need to do this collective work together. And so the Cooperative Society of Bluefield Institute is one example of that on this page. Booker T. Washington was also involved, big figure in our history. Anything?
Yeah. And the 1920s, this is we had a lot of this would be the Renaissance, a lot of things going on around culture. And Booker T. Washington had the Tuskegee Institute, I believe, prior to the 20s, so we were still coming out of that. We just had the UNIA, the Marcus Garvey, so it was a lot of Black pride, a lot of Black love for our culture at this time. So you see that transition as well, like Brother Greg said, when you can look at the timeline and kind of see what we were developing on the business end, during these moments of inspiration and motivation and self-appreciation to do for self. And on the flip end, we were doing a lot of education. Okay, so you see in the 1800s, there was a lot of agricultural, consumer, just our needs. Now we're starting to think, what do we need, but also what do we want? On a business end, how do we have to educate each other? You see the Merchants Association, we're thinking about competing now because we were able to take care of ourselves. And this kind of scared the opposition, as you see later on, because we stopped worrying about just our bare necessities, and we started thinking about on a grander scale of competing. And we'll read some more. How did the cooperatives navigate all this white hate that came from us trying to be so great? But we'll read that in the coming years.
And I did want to, you mentioned culture, the Paul Laurence Dunbar apartments, like a lot of artists that we like associate with the 20s and 30s, like lived there together at that time. And so that'll be a cool thing to learn about and reread as we're moving through the book. Oh yes, okay. So at like when we start coming out of the 30s, Ella Jo Baker like starts getting involved, and I still in awe with the work that she does, and learn a little bit every time we read. I think we try and model some of what we do here at Repaired Nations off of how her and the Young Negroes Cooperatives League went about their work and raising money and raising awareness. And I think you all will well, I hope you all will, gain some of that insight when reading that. because I don't know, like Ella Jo Baker isn't necessarily thought of as a cooperative leader, but because she, like in her early days, started off as a cooperative leader, like that stuff kind of undergirds all of her work. And like, you know, the more you look into it, the more you'll see that she's taking a cooperative, collective approach and isn't trying to like bash people over the head with a hierarchy or whatnot. You know, we're coming up to the end of the 30 minutes and really wanting to keep it, you know, within that time frame. So you know, you all got some stuff to read into and look into as you know, you do this. I'll just pull up this form one more time just to show you all, like, okay, when you're ready, you know, the email has it in there. The curriculum also has a link in there. But you'll come to here, put in your email, your name, either the day the lecture was, you know, done, which is today, or the assignment number. This is assignment number 1. You're going to give 2 examples, or you're going to pick out 2 cooperatives in the timeline that you're, you know, interested in learning about. Tell us why. That'll be question 1 and 2, or prompt 1 and 2. The third prompt will be giving us your address so that I can drop off this bag backpack that was made from Africa. That's going to include Collective Courage and some other stuff. So yeah, would you like to close us out with anything, Todd?
Yeah, that was great. You know, just starting off light. Don't want to overload. This is going to be a process of learning and relearning. So just please reach out. Always, there's no question that's not warranted. Anything that crosses your mind, from the smallest topic to something that might not be related to what we talked about today, please reach out. You have the email. You know, Brother Greg laid it out real simply, so that, you know, just to keep us, you know, interested and engaged for today. We don't want to go too long. We don't want to, you know, bore too much information, but we do want to elicit participation. So yeah, this is a beautiful way to start the week off. I hope you learned something today that you can apply to your thinking process moving forward, and can't wait to see y'all the next time.
Yeah, big love, y'all. Thanks for coming. See you tomorrow. And, you know, we'll be setting up check-ins and all of that stuff. So we'll have more chances to speak with each other as a group. But we're going to like root all of ourselves in education first. And yeah, so thank you all for coming, and you know, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Peace.